We're up to question number 22 on our Unit 10 volume test review 1 sheet number 22. The circumference of a sphere is 18 pi meters. Find the volume. Now class, we are not being given the radius or the diameter. We're given the circumference. You got to think about this. If this is the circumference, we're going to have to find the radius. And that is not that difficult to do because we know that the circumference of a circle is 2 pi r. And since they gave us the circumference as 18 pi, all we have to do is solve for r. You know, class, to get r by itself, in this case we can divide the right side by 2 pi, divide the left side by 2 pi. 2 over 2 is 1, so that cancels. Pi over pi is 1, that cancels. Oh, they got a pi over here as well. Pi over pi cancels. And we just have here the radius is equal to 18 over 2, which is just 9. So the radius is just 9 meters. And now we can go ahead and find our volume. So you found this is 9 meters. And now it's just a matter of using the volume formula. The volume of a sphere, 4/3 pi r cubed, which is 4/3 pi times 9 cubed. And let's put that in our calculator. Parenthesis 4 divided by 3, there's our fraction, times pi times 9 raised to the third power. We've got 3053.62, and the next number is 8. That's going to round the 2 up, so 3053.63. 3053.63 meters cubed. Our final answer, 3053.63 meters cubed. Okay, question number 23. A sphere has a volume of 288 pi yards cubed. What is the radius of the sphere? So now we're not being given a radius and finding the volume. We're giving the volume and we're finding the radius. Let's take a look. So we know the volume of this sphere is 288 pi, and what we're looking for is radius. We do not know what the radius of this sphere is. Well, all we got to do is use our volume formula for a sphere, class. Plug in what we know, solve for what we don't know. Okay, volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. We know the volume in this case is 288 pi, and that's going to be equal to 4/3 pi r cubed. Let's start using our Algebra 1 skills to get r by itself. First thing I notice is I can divide both sides by pi. What's nice about that is pi over pi disappears here, and pi over pi disappears here. So we end up with, not disappears, changes to 1. So we end up with 288 equals 4/3 times r cubed. Now we're going to use our law of reciprocals. We know to get rid of the 4/3 on the right side, we're going to multiply by its reciprocal, 3/4. And that means we're going to multiply this side by 3/4. The 4/3 and the 3/4 change to 1, so those cancel or turn to 1, so we can get rid of them. Let's go ahead and find out what is 3/4 times 288. That is equal to 216. So this side changes to 216. And now we've got 216 equals r cubed. And now we're going to use what we learned a couple days ago. R cubed equals 216. When you want to get rid of a square, we know, class, that you square root. A square root undoes a square. Well, a cubed root undoes a cube. Cube root this side, and we're going to end up with just r, and that means we have to cube root this side. So we end up on the left side, excuse me a second. Okay, we end up with r on this side. R equals the cubed root of 216, which we learned we can put in our calculator as 216 raised to the 1/3 power. Remember, an exponent of 1/2 means square root, an exponent of 1/3 means cubed root. So we put that in our calculator. Let's do that. I'm going to end up with 216 raised to, put this in parentheses, 1 divided by 3, and press equal, and you end up with exactly 6. So the radius happens to be 6. Our unit of measure is yards. So our final answer is the radius is 6 yards. Question number 24. A cone has a volume of 75 pi inches cubed and a height of 7 inches. What is the radius of the base? So we know this is a cone class. We know our volume for a cone is 1/3 times the base area times the height. We know our volume is 75 pi. And we know that our height is 9 inches. So 75 pi equals 1/3 times the base area times our height, which is 9. All right, we got to move everything from this side over to this side. The first thing I want to get rid of is I want to get rid of the 9. So to get rid of the 9, I'm going to divide both sides by 9. And I'm going to leave this. I'm not going to reduce this because I think, let's try, 75 divided by 9 is equal to, all right, that's a repeating decimal. I don't want to simplify that. So I'm just going to leave this as 75 pi over 9. So now this 9 crosses off this 9 because they changed to 1. And I've got one more thing I can do, class. I can multiply this side by the reciprocal, 3 over 1. The 3 over 1 is going to cancel the 1 over 3. So I can multiply this side by 3 over 1. So you can see that I'm doing both of these things in one step. You can do them in separate steps, but I'm going to do them both in one step. So now I've got something that looks kind of messy. Let's see, the 1/3 and the 3 over 1, those cancel each other and change to 1. So now we have the base area is equal to, let's multiply across. We've got 3 times 75 equals 225. So I've got 225 pi over 9. Now notice I didn't put pi in yet because I don't want to round and then have to round again. Well, this is our base area. Well, we know this is a cone, class, so we know that the base of a cone is a circle, which is pi r squared. That means we can rewrite this as 225 pi over 9 is equal to pi r squared. All we have to do is get rid of everything but the r squared and then simplify the r squared. Let me get rid of something here. I'm going to write this as r squared. Sorry, pi r squared. Well, let's get rid of pi. To get rid of pi, I'm going to multiply by, or I'm going to divide by, actually I can do this. Let's do the multiply. I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal 1 over pi. This is pi over 1, multiply by 1 over pi. That means I'm going to multiply this side by 1 over pi. My pi and my reciprocal cancel. And I'm going to end up, I'm going to rewrite this with r on the left. R squared is equal to 225 pi over, that's 1 times 225 pi, and then pi times 9 is 9 pi. Now this works out pretty nice, class. Take a look. The pi cancels. And now I have r squared equals 225 divided by 9. I'm going to square root both sides. And square root cancels the square. And I've got r is equal to the square root of 225 divided by 9. Let's put that on our calculator. Square root of, oops, let's clear this. The square root of parentheses 225 divided by 9, close parentheses, equal, and my answer is exactly 5. So the radius is exactly 5 unit of measure is inches. Now, look at one more thing, class. We could have done it this way. We learned this. You could have put this in as 225 divided by 9. There's my fraction. And then I'm going to raise that to the exponent 1 divided by 2, because the exponent of 1/2 means square root. If I press equal, I get the same thing exactly. I get 5. So our radius in this case is 5 inches. So look what I did. I plugged in everything I knew in my volume formula, found the volume or the base area, and then plugged that into my base area formula, which is a circle, pi r squared, and I solved for r. All right, last one. A rectangular prism has a width of, oh, there's a typo here. A rectangular prism has a volume of 10,360 centimeters cubed and a height of 37 centimeters. What is the area of the base rectangle? All right, this should be no problem. Volume of a rectangular prism is base area times height. The volume here is 10,360 equals the base area times the height. Oh, this is no big deal. Let's divide both sides by 37 so we can get base area by itself. And you end up with the base area is equal to 10,000, move this over, 10,360 divided by 37 equals exactly 280. So the base area is 280. Our unit of measure is centimeters, and we know it's area, so it's squared. And we're done. It's asking us what is the area of the base rectangle. This is our base rectangle area. So our final answer here is 280 centimeters squared. That is the end of review sheet number 1.